This video is sponsored by Hunter's Arena Legends, thank God. The main game mode is Survival, which features monster hunting, leveling, PvP, and high octane gaming performance. You can play this mode in a group of 3 or the solo mode, which is what I like to see. The main objective in this game is to survive to the end, fighting various monsters and enemy players. If you think you got what it takes, check out the link in the description. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my final Retribution Paladin guide for BFA. Today we'll be going over the talents, Azerite traits, Heart of Azeroth, Enchants and Sockets, and lastly, the rotation, and maybe some macros. In 8.2, your main role as a Retribution Paladin is number 1, do big massive damage. Number 2, coordinate and set up CCs with your partner. Number 3, use your utilities and off heals. This is where a lot fail. People tend to get lazy and they do not use their utility to their full potential. A good ret will have big awareness to keep an eye out for the enemies and allies. A bad ret will only do big damage and be hard stuck at 1600. Let us first go over the stats. Some choose to go versatility, others go haste. For me, I like stacking mastery. Mastery increases holy power damage done by X amount of number you have. So every ability that I do, which is holy, will do more damage. I know this is nerfed in PvP, but it is still very strong. So for my primary stats, I will focus on mastery, and my second stat will be haste, then versatility. You want haste at least 15%. After you have 15%, you can then go for versatility. Or if you don't mind the haste speed, just go for versatility, which is very, very strong. It also goes very well with the Azerite neck trait, but I will explain that a little bit later. For Enchants and Gems, as you can see, I'm using Force Multiplier for more mastery and 60 plus mastery on my rings. For gems, I am using the 50 plus mastery. So I'm going full out mastery because I love mastery. And there's one more plus to it, which I will explain with the Azerite gears. So in each of my Azerite gears, you can clearly see a trait that is the same, correct? And that is called the Avenger's Might. While Avenging Wrath is active, your mastery is increased by 717. Times that by 3. Now that is a big load, and the higher your item level is, the higher the Avenger's Might will be. Unfortunately, I do not grind for gear anymore because Classic WoW is coming out. But if you're still playing BFA, make sure you grind and get the right Azerite traits. So these are the ones you want 100% in your armor: helmet, shoulder, and chest. So you want at least 1 Light's Decree, which will give you 5 more seconds in Avenger's Wrath, also does splash damage. The second one you want to look for is Empyrean Power. This gives you a free Divine Storm, and the Divine Storm deals a lot more damage than a normal Divine Storm. So it's a nice proc, and you get an extra damage. So you want to have Light's Decree, Empyrean Power, and the rest Avenger's Might. These mini ones, do not copy mine. These are so poop. Look at this. When enemy you harm dies, you heal 9,000. Lay of Hand grants, like, I'm not gonna be able to use this in arena. This is so useless. Anyways, these traits are the ones that matter. These first 2 traits. I mean, there are nice ones like Gut Ripper, but These are lucky. You gotta be lucky. So for traits, 1 Light's Decree, 1 Imperium Power, and all Avengers Might, if you can. At least 2. That would be very nice. But you want at least 1 of these and stack Avengers Might. Also, I almost forgot to mention, the reason why we went full mastery is because with Avengers Might, add these 2 numbers together, it's a lot of damage. You'll bang someone for sure. Heart of Azeroth. There is the Major and there is the Minor. I did my best to show all the combinations. Crucible of Flames works as well, but I did not include it here because these 3 are the main ones that are used the most. I think my favorite is these 2. Vision of Perfection. Basically, your abilities have a chance to proc wings, and the swing lasts for 35% of the normal duration. Minor, Conflict and Strife. You get a chance to gain versatility, stacks up to 5 times. If you get in a CC, you will get the stack 100%. This comes in very handy. As you know, red paladins are very squishy. I know a lot of people are misinformed that they're tanky, they have bubble, they have heals. Our defensive is actually not the greatest because bubble is in a very long cooldown of 4 minutes or 5 minutes depending on what talents you do. So if you lose bubble as a red paladin, you're probably done. And especially when you're fighting RMP, Rogue Mage Paladin, you're gonna get wrecked. And having this Conflict and Strife will help a lot. And here comes the second one, which I like a lot. If you put Conflict and Strife on the Major Power, it basically gives you Unbound Freedom, which is a PvP talent. Whenever you free them, it cannot be purged or stolen. Your movement speed is also increased by 30%, and you can give your partner a freedom, and you will get one too. Also, when you're stunned, your versatility is doubled. So this is insane. Whenever you fight an RMP, you want to take this talent for sure. I think I also talked about why having versatility after you max out your haste is good, is because of this talent, the double. And for the minor, we have the Lucid Dreams. You get a chance to refund 50% of your holy power, and it also heals you. Pretty handy, and it might help you with your rotation to spam more Templar Verdicts. This is the least played one, Condensed Life Force. Summons a minion, does good damage. It adds up to almost 100k plus. And the minor is going to be Vision of Perfection, which reduces the wing cooldown and also heals you 5% max. It's not a bad talent, but I prefer using these 2 a lot. This one versus anyone that can purge or spell steal, and this one against normal fights. But once you get to a higher rating, mages don't even bother spell stealing anymore because they think you have Conflict and Strife. So maybe you could juke them with going with the first one. That is totally up to you. So I recommend going number 1 and number 2, depending on what you fight. Number 3, if you want to be unique. Talents. Talents. We're almost done, gentlemen. Hang on there. As you can see, I have 2 templates for you. Crusade still works, but I will not explain the Crusade build in this video. If you are interested in Crusade, watch my last video. I show you a perfection. But in this video, I'll be talking about the 8.2 consistent damage. There's only 2 differences. I should have just merged it. Why did I even separate it? I like the second build. This is what I play the most. I will explain this first. What does Execution Sentence do? Basically, you put this bad boy, boom, drop it on the enemy, and this will make you do 20% more damage onto this target. It got nerfed, but it is still good for our juicy setup. As you know, we are stacking Mastery, And we have Avenger's Might stack. The thing is, Crusade does not work with the first crit now. If you pop Wing right now as you are on your Red Paladin, you will see a buff saying your first Templar Verdict or Divine Storm will critically strike. So when you pop your Wing, your first Holy Power damage dealer will be a big fat crit. And by having Inquisition and Execution Sentence, you will do massive amount of damage. Second talent is going to be Hammer Wrath. As you know, you can only throw it at a certain percentage, or when you pop Wing, you can throw Hammer for extra damage, extra Holy Power, and a ranged ability if your target is running far away. Fist of Justice is probably the most reliable CC. These two you could try. When I played with the Shadow Priest, this worked very well because we had stuns and Repentance came in handy, but for the most part, run Fist of Justice. The level 60 talent, Wake of Ash, no doubt. Level 75 talent, you could choose all three. Eye for an Eye against double DPS, double melee, Warrior DK, you'll see them a lot. If you pop Eye for an Eye, it's a minute cooldown, you'll take less damage. Cavalier, I run this the most because we lack mobility and I love having mobility. So you'll see me use this most of the time. And you can use Unbreakable Spirit when you fight against a burst comp. So you have your bubble back faster and you have Shield of Vengeance back faster. For the 90 talent, you could play Selfless Healer and Word of Glory. I like playing Selfless Healer. Word of Glory got nerfed. It is still good and you can still play it, but I like Selfless Healer. For the last row, we are playing with Inquisition. It will give you 7% haste and 7% overall damage. So the first one, the difference is just these two, Zeal and Execution Sentence. If you don't want to do setups with Execution Sentence and doing a big Templar Verdict, you could just go with the Zeal for faster auto attacks and a little bit more damage. So I guess this is a little bit constant and this is more bursty. Try both and see what you like. I probably run this 100% against ranged comps because with this, when I fight a range, I won't be able to touch them. For the PvP talents, I put them into 3 sections. Which ones you could play, and I will explain them to you. Starting with the arena. You want to use Gladiator's Medallion. It's a trinket. Everyone knows. I don't have to explain this. This comes in very handy with Blessing of Sync. It's a combination. You don't want to run Adapt because at some part of the games, you want to use your trinket to get out of a CC to get your healer out of a CC. So you're basically using your trinket to give your healer a free trinket. Blessing of Sanctuary removes stun, silence, fear, and horror effects. It also removes the future upcoming ones for 5 seconds. It is very, very strong. So this is best. This is biz. There's a lot of paladins that ask, hey, I'm trying to climb. Do you know what my problem is? I have to check the talent out. They're not running this because they're lazy. They don't want to make a macro. It's an extra button. You want to use this for sure. I'll teach you macros. Make your life a lot easier. Law and Order. You always want to have this. If your arena partners cannot slow for you, this will slow and handicap the enemies. Lawbringer. It increases the judgment effect time to 16 seconds. And it also does 5% of their total health. So this comes in very handy. And it adds up in the end of the game. Hammer of Reckoning. I love this talent. You basically have 2 wings. 1 normal wing. And 1 Hammer of Reckoning wing. So you could do 2 setups with this. I explained this in my last video. So what I used to do is run 2 on-use trinkets. This one gives me my primary stats, and this one gives me Versa. So with my primary, I use main wing, and with the Versa, I use Hammer of Reckoning. And I do the same setup, which I will tell you later. Jurisdiction, it gives you 10 more yard on your stuns. Nowadays, or it was always easy to predict a Red Paladin coming for a CC setup, right? The normal stun is 10 yard. And in arena, when you run up to stun the enemy healer or the DPS, whatever you're setting up to, it's kind of obvious unless you make a very smooth move and stun. So having jurisdiction, it helps. You can be really far and stun and they won't see it coming. I personally don't use this too often because I can make my stuns unpredictable. I'm that good. If you're having troubles reaching for the target, feel free to use it. So for me, I probably run this one or this one with Law and Order right here instead of Jurisdiction. So these two talents, this one mainly, I think this is the new meta right here. This one is called the YOLO Arena. I use this when I fight Warlocks. I don't even run Sync. I know I'm gonna be CC'd all day. Have Vengeance Aura with it. Every time you're in a CC, Vengeance Aura will make you do bigger damage. And if you could line this up with your perfect rotation and a perfect wing setup, you might just go Hambo and kill the guy. So this works kinda good against a comp that CCs you for days. And you can also see that we're running Relentless so that we get out of CCs faster. So we're eating a lot of CC, we're coming out faster, and we're getting Vengeance Aura stack. These ones are BG for fun, so you guys can just try this out. It's just for BGs, having fun. You don't need Blessing of Sync. I know people hate using this. Your healers will love this talent, but you yourself hate using it because you actually have to pay attention to the enemy and your partners. Time for the epic damage, gamers. We're going to pretend that this is the kill target and this is the healer. Okay, I'm sorry I had to swap over because my mic died halfway. So this is the healer and this is the kill target. You're going to do your normal rotation, get your Inquisition up. Now that we have our Inquisition up, our next goal is to get 3 Holy Power fast as possible so you can do an Execution Sentence. You're going to stun the healer, you're going to go for the Execution Sentence, pop your wing, pop your trinket, Wake of Ash, Judgment into the biggest Templar Verdict of your life. 150k, not bad. And then you want to do your normal rotation. So keep in mind, you always want to use Blade of Justice, Judgment, Hammer, and then Crusader Strike. Crusader Strike should be your last option for Holy Power generators. And if I could give you guys a tip for the arena, for example, we're playing a Cupid. Make sure you guys line up your CC properly, stun, trap, interfere. While that's going on, you're gonna pop this burst along with your hunter and your priest using Dark Arc, and you guys would do a lot of damage and you should get a cooldown, a defensive cooldown, or the enemy should be dead. And now let's go to macros. Okay, first I'm going to teach you guys the cancel macro, which is pretty important. Freedom, bam, cancel. I have my Inquisition up, and bam, cancel. If I press Shift W, this is a cancel macro, even for Bob, and then cancel. I could use this Bob to get out of a stun, certain CCs, and then I cancel it right away so that the mages don't steal it. Your partners should all have these macros as well. So that way if you bop your healers blind or stun, they don't get it stolen. Okay, I got these two nice fellas to help me out. Shift 6 is going to heal target 1, and Control 6 is going to heal target number 2. So in arena, I'm going to do my normal rotation, Inquisition up, doing some nice Templar Verdict, get nice wing procs. And while I do this, if I see my druid is in need of help, I will give him some off heals, I will give him some freedom. If my DK is dying, I'm going to heal my DK and cleanse my druid or DK by simply pressing my macros. So this side is all party member number 2, this side is all party member number 1. So I named them 1 and 2. For my Sank, bam, there's a Sank on him if he needs it or he needs it, whichever one. So make macros like these, and this will definitely help. Just freedom when you're banging. If you're trying to click the target and heal and click back to your enemy, hitting him, click back to this guy, click here. If you're doing this, it works, but it takes some time. Just don't click. Make macros, please. These ones are going to be arena target stun 1, 2, and 3, arena target frame 1, 2, and 3, and this arena kick 1, 2, 3, focus stun, focus kick. I'll have all my macros in the link in description. I think that's all. And one tip I could teach you guys is the Inquisition tip. You know that we get selfless healer every time we use our holy power. And there's that one stack. Normally, a lot of the people use 3 holy powers to get these stacks. But if you are very desperate, you could cancel the Inquisition, do a Crusader Strike, pop your Inquisition, and you get selfless healer. So you're basically getting selfless healer with 1 holy power. I'm not sure if Blizzard knows this, but I've been using this for a while for survival mode. So you basically turn on Inquisition and you cancel it, and you get these free selfless healer stacks, so you can heal massive. Thanks for the party. Okay, I kind of explained everything so fast because I invited these random guys and I didn't want them to leave, but I think you guys get what I was trying to show you guys. Using macros will come very handy. I use a simple button of shift or controls. So my normal 6 is heal, it's not Wake of Ash, people think it's Wake of Ash. And my number 4 is Divine Storm, but I make it look like Flash of Heal. These are all macros. These double stacks, I know a lot of people question why am I stacking. It's just to look at bars cooler, cleaner. So that's the whole thing, and I think I explained everything, correct? If I missed anything, feel free to comment below and I will try to answer it. I will try. Hope you guys learned something out of this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you have free time, check out the link in the description. Thanks guys. Peace.